An upsetting discovery: 5 more whales have been found dead.
And every year, more and more whale bodies show up on shores worldwide.
This is very much a concern.
Animals have been struck by vessels or caught in gear.
Reports on whale deaths have been all across the media, with both government and non-profit groups broadcasting their concern.
It's not a sign marine biologists ever want to see.
Almost 100 whales have died.
Unfortunately, data pertaining to many questions that scientists have about whales is lacking.
The very first time ever that these type of tags have been put on Antarctic minke whales.
Grey whales have been struggling with their own surge of unexplained deaths.
The countless concerned scientists and many news reports may leave you wondering, are whales dying at a more frequent rate? Which species are most at risk? What is putting these gentle sea creatures in danger? And what can we do about it? Or maybe you're regular to the channel and you're already ready to ask, what's up with that? Today we take to the Atlantic on a search for some whales. Let's see what we find. The first animals we were lucky enough to see was a pod of harbor porpoises. These guys are small and dolphin-like animals that are common in the Atlantic Ocean. But they are not whales, so let's continue the whale search. Next we managed to spot some harbor seals basking in the sun. But still, no whales. We did catch sight of some interesting birds. Go, go! These are Bonaparte's gulls. Of course, they are not whales. And then, out of the corner of my eye, what do I see? A whale.
There he is!
Oh, there he is!
Look, you're getting a lot!
This is no ordinary whale. In fact, it's a minke whale. Yeah, I can see him. There he is. Unfortunately, this is the one and only whale we managed to see on today's adventure. But don't you worry, these guys are mighty interesting. There he is! Number 1. What is a minke whale? Minke whales are the smallest species of baleen whales and are currently listed as not at risk of extinction. Look at him go! Baleen whales do not have teeth and instead sport mouths filled with long, thin cartilage. They're able to swallow mouthfuls of water with their jaws open and then trap fish inside their baleen prisons by closing their jaws and ejecting the seawater. These whales are an average of 6 to 10 meters long. Look at him! Weigh about 6 to 10 tons and live in all of the world's oceans. These creatures are especially fast swimmers and can jump up, thrusting their bodies half out of the water when feeding. Their stable population numbers and small size has led to their deaths often being overlooked and their species severely understudied. When identifying these whales, it's good to keep in mind that minke whales can spout, that means the water that they send out of their blowholes, about 2 meters in height. But it's very rare to actually see this occurrence. There he is. A particularly common way of identifying whales is by looking at their dorsal fins. Minke whales' dorsal fins are curved and hook-like and about 2/3 of the way down their bodies. Minke whales have black or dark gray backs and white underbellies. They also have a white spot on their pectoral fins. Minke whale tails are quite small and they're not usually visible when the minke is diving. Although whales in general are quite social creatures, the minke whale is often spotted alone. Question 2. What is putting these gentle sea giants in danger? Whales are very hard to study, as they are extremely large creatures and of course live in the ocean. Scientists Oldetch et al. In 2022, however, estimate that the total whale population has fallen 90% as a result of commercial whaling. These scientists state 8 main causes for whale deaths outside of commercial whaling: entanglement, vessel strikes, noise, water quality, marine debris, nutritional stress, disease, and predation. The first 5 are currently being addressed by global regulations, although only with slight success. Currently, entanglement in fishing gear is responsible for the greatest number of deaths in specifically baleen whales, with vessel strikes being the overall greatest cause of death in all whale species populations. Question number 3. Are whales dying at a more frequent rate? Yes and no. It is true that whales today are dying less frequently than during the peak of commercial whaling in the 1960s. Today, whales are protected in most of the world's waters, where whaling has been outlawed. Let's not get into the whale mortality stats for countries that still allow whaling. That's enough for its own video. But in places where whaling is well regulated, are these international protections even enough? Although the frequency of whale killing, specifically the intentional human-caused killings, i.e. whaling, has declined drastically in the past several decades, the frequency at which whales are dying now due to passive human action is well above pre-industrial levels. The scientific data supports that whale populations are still falling. Question number 4. Which species are the most at risk? From 2010 through to 2019, the Marine Mammal Health and Stranding Response Program documented the percentage of each whale species struck was as follows: 38% gray whales, 22.8% humpback whales, 21.5% fin whales, and 8.86% blue whales. Statistics in regard to fishing equipment related deaths are harder to know. Many deaths go unreported, as fishing equipment often goes unattended by humans for long periods of time. Knowing which specific species are at risk involves understanding the complex interactions between ecology, whale behavior, and vessel practices. This all warrants species-specific studies. This lack of data becomes even more apparent when you look at the minke whales. As a rule, minke whales are quite understudied, and due to their status as not at risk, they often don't fall under the protections that many other whales have. Although right now the minke whale is quite common, it is unlikely to remain so if future actions are not taken. It is frustrating that many policymakers do not understand that these actions need to be taken before there is a large decrease in their population size, not after. Question number 5. What can we do about it? Oldache et al. Suggests that we need greater regulations and restrictions on fishing gear, as well as shipping. Possible regulations could include mandatory fishing gear modifications. This means things like reducing the amount of slack rope there is in the fishing setup.
Most fixed gear fisheries, like lobster fishing, has a buoy line that connects a buoy at the surface with a trap at the bottom. These devices eliminate the need for that buoy that stays there all the time.
Using rope that breaks more easily.
These restrictions order lobstermen to use lines that can break more easily,
so that if it does get tangled around whales, they're able to break free. And attaching acoustic pingers to fishing gear equipment to alert whales of its presence there. These scientists also suggest that we could have certain times and areas where fishing is either restricted or prohibited,
and bans them from setting traps in state waters between February and May,
to allow whales to have space for mating and for rearing their young.
There are now 7 whales in Canadian waters, triggering the suspension of commercial fishing in parts of the Gulf of St. Lawrence for at least 15 days.
One way that the common consumer can help reduce whale deaths is by not purchasing anything fished. Additionally, there are certain companies which ensure that they do not hurt whales in their processes of fishing, and they have a certification of ocean safe or whale safe on their packaging. Just something to look out for the next time you're grocery shopping. Restrictions and regulations on shipping, such as rerouting or reducing the speeds of ships, is also encouraged by these scientists. These scientists also flag engine noise as a great risk to whale species and suggest that we reduce engine noise and military sonar noise. Although we don't have a complete understanding of how this noise impacts the whales, it is likely that it interferes with the way they communicate with other whales and how they navigate the ocean. Another great risk to whales is marine pollution. Reducing marine pollution by reducing the amount of plastic and other chemicals that wind up in our oceans is a great step in the right direction. And as always with everything, climate change is going to negatively impact this species. And reducing and mitigating climate change effects is one way we can move forward towards saving whale species. Well, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the science video. Make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications and leave me a comment and a like in the comment section down below. And I hope we get to 150 subscribers by my birthday on September 26th. And as always, stay curious.